curriculums for people.
Well, one of the key words that I heard you say in your testimony just now was grace.
Yes.
And from what I understand about Tiffany's story, which I would like to jump into, is that I think grace comes from a place, which rhymes, but because you've gone through a hard time.
Yeah.
And so, I don't think you wake up one day, you're like, hey, I'm going to start a credit repair business.
No, absolutely not.
So how did
So
that journey actually start?
Such a good story. I wish it was someone else's story. It's always nice. Oh boy. Do you have to cut?
No.
It's an alarm.
Let it ring.
It's an alarm.
Let it ring.
It's going to keep going.
It means your time to come.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Do you need to get it?
Do you want me to turn that off?
You
Will
turn it
that
off,
ruin
yeah.
everything right now?
No.
Go ahead and turn it off.
No, because we're just
Guys,
really
I
normal.
literally turned my phone off, but the alarm's going to go off. What are the chances? Okay. Thank you.
Okay, that was
Alrighty
funny.
then. That doesn't happen again until 6:30, so we'll be okay. Okay. Do you want me to start again? Or you want to ask again?
No, there's no cut.
There's
That
no
was
cut.
all
We're going to run with it. Let's go.
Alrighty then. Glad I didn't read the title. I'm just kidding.
So how did your story start with all this?
Okay, so, I came from San Diego, and I was, I was young and dumb and, making a lot of money, way too much money for that age. I was, young 20s, I think. I lived in Gaslamp all by myself in a big, beautiful condo, just kind of doing life, living the life. Total party girl. Don't tell my children. We talked about that earlier. No, but I was all very, very career driven and enjoying my life in San Diego. And I wanted to stay there with all my heart. And that was right around 2004, 2005. And I was a Gaslamp girl, and I had no intentions of moving. And at that time ended up meeting someone that, wanted to marry me, go figure. And at that time he's like, you know what, the housing market is insane. I know you want to be in San Diego, but the house that you want is like a $3 million home. And you don't make that much, and nor do I. So we went driving north, and it seemed like forever at the time. I remember Escondido feeling like it was like another country because that was way more north than I'd ever want to be anyways. And then we kept going. It felt like forever. Next thing you know, we landed in this place called Temecula. Who in the world lives in Temecula? I had all these misconceptions about it. But nonetheless, fell in love with it and fell in love with the house right on a golf course. It was beautiful. You guys know Red Hawk?
Yep.
Okay. And for what would have been $900,000 in San Diego at that time, we were able to buy it for $440,000. So no brainer, bought this house. And then all of the neighbors who had purchased the same house for $100,000 less just 4 months before that drove over with wine and welcome to the neighborhood. Thank you so much for helping us, earn $100,000 equity in 3 weeks, Anyways, had fallen in love with the area. And then, like clockwork, the loan went adjustable, with a prepayment penalty, and we had to walk out the very embarrassing experience of a short sale where our mortgage was like almost $6,000. We were young. I had changed careers at this time. So it was humble pie central, which a lot of people never have to do, but I did. Left my beautiful home and went in. I think we had about $60,000 worth of credit card debt at that time. So it was just a pretty awful time.
So just an avalanche of
it was
bad financial decisions.
It was awful. And so then we continued on north to this ever growing journey of living in Menifee for a little while, and literally licked our wounds, kind of healed our marriage. The stress of finances can destroy any marriage. And then ended up having 2 beautiful little boys. And in that process of that healing time, emotional and financial time, I, in everything I do, decided to geek out on everything to do with credit repair, credit maintenance, bankruptcy, whatever it took. And in that process, we mastered the art of learning how to do credit repair. So it was truly the quest of trying to find a company that was legal and ethical to do what I needed. And so we set out to become the company that we wished we'd had when we needed it. And so that's truly the heart of our business. Aww. And we walk that out every day 16 years later.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And so when you mentioned Grace, I was like, yeah, because I kind of knew about her story. And that's where it comes from, because it is hard and it is shameful and embarrassing, the feelings that you feel. Because money is emotional. And so when you have those problems, so many people just want to hide it. And that's why I think a lot of people resist getting the credit repaired, because they don't want people pulling back the curtain and saying, oh, you got this in there. But knowing your personal story of where you come from and You've been in that
and
same
it's
closet
embarrassing to, for years I wouldn't share my story. And it's funny because you look back, I'm like, well, that probably would have been the smartest thing to do if I wanted to grow my business. But when it's still so new and it's still so fresh, it's still so much a part of who you are.
Yep.
I almost kind of had more of the fake it till you make it approach to my business. Like, let's be super successful appearing, and really that is not what anyone wants. They want to do a business with someone that's authentic. We talked about that the other day. A true person. And to be humble enough, you guys, if you only knew how much I don't like credit, the concept of it, the people, the industry. My husband's ex-girlfriend, was, oh, she's a credit bandit. I'm like, okay, that's the very reason why someone like me wouldn't want to be a part of the industry, because it does have a really negative connotation.
What's a credit bandit?
She was being spiteful and calling, oh, she's a credit repair person, so she's a credit bandit, and I thought, well, interesting. I mean, it makes a good living. So we're not credit bandits. We're clearly like, a really Christian family operating with the highest ethics. But I feel like, anyone can choose a profession that's glitzy and glamorous, and really mine isn't. It's very much dealing with people in severe hardships. Sometimes not the easiest clients to communicate with, not always the most educated at times. But for the most part, everyone's so grateful and so humble and so willing to receive information. And like I said before, credit challenges happen to everyone. It can happen to the broker of a real estate office who went through a divorce, catastrophic illnesses and deaths. Those things can't be planned for, and we don't always have 5 years of expenses saved under our mattress.